And wow, that's cool. Hello, hello, hello. So it's been made within 3 days. Okay, you can hear me? Yeah. 7 days ago, the silver treader rose from a classified hadopalaxy trench in the Pacific Ocean. So this is like an ocean game. Painted on it was the blood of the 3 scientists that were cradled in the submarine. Their bodies were nowhere to be found. 6 days ago, the Caspian cell, armed with the blessing of science, disembarked into the trench. 5 days ago, it emerged with a catch. 4 hours ago, everyone in the facility was reclaimed by the sea. The hadopalagic zone is the deepest region of the ocean. Okay. I don't like that noise. Okay. Okay. 2, 2. Okay. Okay, I hear it. Hello? That's weekly in the deep in the trenches. Okay, it's not doing anything, so hold on. Okay. Deeper in the darkness of the abyssal zone. Rapid scientific developments have allowed the marine biologists to get access to most mysterious parts of the seafloor. Underwater facilities were quickly built in the Mesopelagic zone, around 200,000 meters into the depth. What the fuck is that? Is that a hand? You are a marine biologist of the Enviro Deep Facility, conducting researching on a deep-sea crustacean. Your work has always been unique. You collect samples and study them. You are nothing like the biologist with a death wish who plunge into the deeper waters. Serve. Return. Okay. The ones who bring a gun, not for the Kraken, but for themselves. Each sample you receive is larger than the last. It makes sense. Deep sea genetism makes the organism more efficient. Better metabolism, better gathering of food, greater nutrition once it falls to the seafloor. Large isopods are burnt into the back of your skull already. The silver trader was going back into the fray to capture the footage of the large eels. Rumors circulate that they were eating the waste propelled from the embryo deep. You remember seeing Magua, Barrow, and Lewis before their descent, and you could not get the vision of their remains painted on the front of the submarine out of your head. It was like the smears of a wild animal, but you know it was done with intention. 3 ventured back in to find the evidence of the dead and to capture what had been brought them to their demise. It was difficult to describe this creature at first. Humanoid in some aspect, but nothing less alien. The higher-ups were unsure what to name it. The process unusually takes long and is bureaucratic. It was relevantly docile, but would become aggressive when any tests that were not purely observational were attempted. Multiple facilities were injured in attempts to take its blood. Well, damn, don't do it then. What conclusions were made were slim. It is male of a species and shares characteristics with the cutthroat eels. Something under the skin makes it bioluminescent. Those who captured it reported that it only began to glow when arriving at the facility. It does not communicate, but it seems to understand the human language and the meaning behind words. Any attempt to make it communicate has been futile. It is ignoring the scientists. Its primary role is as a scavenger. Considering the death of 3 scientists of the silver trader, it may also be a predator. And it had not eaten since arrival. That's bad. That is bad. It had to be contained to a tank meant for dozens of animals. Multiple numbers for its full length have been thrown around. 50 feet in length, 75 feet. It is large. That's all that matters. Most formal businesses surrounding the creature had to wait. Words get to the outside world only through monthly supplies runs. Everyone revels in the discovery of the new species, that they were all the only ones to know about it. Well, you don't know that. Other fishes know about it. The facility collectively named the creature Sin after the scientific classification Synaphrobranchidae, and perhaps it was a sin to bring it into the Emerald Deep. You aren't quite sure what happened or how fast it did. Only a few hours ago you had been given a half-dead octopus that was the size of a preteen girl. Why would you describe it like that? Just say, like a young girl. You don't have to say preteen. That's just weird. These things shouldn't be down here. There were a few abnormalities, 4 too many tentacles and extra set of eyes, mutations that were otherwise unnecessary. You heard a few rumbles far away. That was only natural in the Emerald Deep. Underwater earthquakes, large supply halls can often cause rumble. It was not until someone burst into your room with the blood rushing down their arms that you were alarmed. You didn't know who it was before they were dragged back into the darkness. You closed and barred the door, sitting in the confines of your workroom. Against the door you heard the alarm bells, the screams, putrid sounds of the sea creature's flesh and tearing apart of human tendons. There were a few small implements used to vivisect the species that you grabbed to fend for yourself. You knew in a real fight they would do nothing. Having done nothing less, they brought you peace. You waited until it was quiet outside, save for the sound of live wires. You opened the door. For now, you could only walk through the carnage. It was hard to see through flashing of red emergency lights and puffs of steam from broken pipes. Parts of the ceilings have fallen, making the once familiar hallway difficult to navigate. Attention! All personnel must evacuate Emerald Deep facility as quickly and safely as possible. Proceed to the escape pod or submarine located in 3 emergency broadcast experiences static and seize operations. Truth be told, you don't remember the safety procedures. Well, that's dumb. You went over to them once again when you arrived and never again since. You make your way the way you can. Under the rubble you always found bodies, so many of them. You don't know how you got here, but you feel it does not matter. When you reach a door left in the pristine condition compared to the other wrecked ones, you can feel it. This room is blanketed with a dust of rubble from the shaking facilities. Otherwise, it is left clean. Papers are still stacked nicely on their desk. The pipes rumble, but they do not burst. Oh, there they are! And towering above you is the creature in its containment. Its hand rests upon the glass, tail almost wagging when it sees you. This is your first time you've seen it in person. You've seen sketches that looked like they were drawn by children as supply supplemental material. The eyes follow you as you moved across the room and in front of its tank, but its head does not. You stand there in front of Zen, who looks down at you with what humans would read as glee on its face. You're the cause of this, aren't you? It moves closer to you to meet your eyes. Perhaps I did. The voice rings in your ear, but it does not open its mouth. I do not know your language, but I know your thoughts. You're scared and unsure. Me communicating through your mind does not help. I have to apologize, but I know you will not forgive me. It is your complicated nature. You swallowed and hold your head in your hands, blood pulsing through your eardrums. You feel dizzy. You don't have a lot of time to leave this place, human. Everyone else is dead. All the scampers through the corners of your facilities are very being you captured. Consider it their version of, what's it? Revenge? You swear you see it glisten in its deep eye. I do not feel a single other soul of your kind with blood that still stings so sweetly. Unfortunately, as much as I was able to roost the desires of the other creatures of this vessel to turn them against the evildoer who forced them from their homes, they are all too blinded their rage to release me. They are animals, after all. They cannot operate mechanism. However, you can. I am willing to enter a contract with you similar to the one you signed when arriving here. Confidential, binding, and eternal. Oh shit. If we said it, we're gonna be like mermaids or something, or mermaids. There are a set of buttons over there by the pipes, to my right, to your left. Press the red and blue one at the same time, and you will override the system. The pressure will become too much, and the glass will break. Should you do this to me, I will make sure you make it to land unscathed. I don't trust them. I don't, but they look pretty. You will not tell a single soul what happened here. Should you let even 1 ounce of it leave your body, the weight of the sea will fall once again on your body, and you will be returned to me. You looked to the buttons. Should we do? Oh fuck. Your gaze turns to red. Arson, what the? Well, why did you kill them? Are you referring to the 3 who ventured into my territory in hopes of stealing those in my community for your study, your experiments? It was a warning to abandon your site and return from whence you came. How is that what we did any different from what you have done here? I am defending my home, just as you all have before. You are stealing my children from me. If you release them back to us, they will return with permanent wounds, disfigured beyond recognition. How repulsive. You feel vomit building up in the back of your throat. I did what any other creature in my position and power would do. I brought, what's it called again? Hell upon your species, just in this instance. I could call upon my distant brothers and sister to overtake everything you have ever built. We could make it happen. We could make it sweat. To feel the rush that comes from the taste of sweet blood. Then voice without an opening mouth is making you uncomfortable. You are not meant to be this far down. When this vessel collapses, you and everybody will collapse along with it. You will not last even a fraction of a second to under the pressure of this water. Yeah. If you manage to survive for longer than that, then the fear of the darkness will swallow you whole. If you refuse to steal, you will never find your way back. Look at yourself. You're tired. You're about to spill your innards onto the floor, As if on command, you hunched over and vomit all over yourself. It's a mixture of food, water, and Vincere. As such, I will leave unscathed in every scenario. This vessel will collapse itself, and glass will break, erode, whatever nature decides. I will be hungry, but I will be free. Every scenario, I will return home. In this, the same cannot be said for you. I am practically giving you a gift, even though I should allow a squid to choke you to death in its grasp. I will not bother killing you myself. You covered your mouth and wiping the excess of your vomit from your lips. Take my offer for your sake. Take it. Yes, I will. It does not move its mouth, but you know it is smiling. Wise. As I stated before, if you look towards the pipes, you will see two buttons. The damage to your vessel has already been overwhelmed. These systems hold the red and blue one at the same time. I hope I don't actually have to do it up for 7 seconds. You listen to its instruction, holding the buttons as long as you hold your breath. You hear the creaking of the embryo deep from the room. It's suffocating. The glass starts to break and then shudders completely. The room immediately fills with tens of thousands of gallons of water. You are swept in a rush, taken completely into the sea. I hope, for your sake, that we never have to meet again. You aren't sure how you got here, washed up upon a beach of an unknown country. Damn, you couldn't take me to unknown? Risen from the huddle zone 9,000 meters down, relatively unscathed. You spit the remaining seawater and sand out of your mouth. And of course, you vomit once more. You do not know. And you do what you can. You make it your way inland as far as you can. Hide yourself within a community. If you are found by anyone associated with Emperor Deep, you know you will be forced to tell them of what happened one way or another. And you know you will be carried back to sea. Those glowing eyes are in every dream. After all,